Wherever you are in the world, welcome to another episode of Jerry's Take on China, and of course, I'm Jerry. It's a very little known but true fact that the USA is very afraid of China's technology. So much so that they've banned NASA from working with China. Actually, that's wrong. In 2011, Congress passed a law called the Wolf Amendment, banning China from working with NASA. What this means is that when China went to the moon, it was okay for NASA to ask China to share the tech with them, but it wasn't okay for China to be part of the International Space Station. Time magazine, in the days before it was anti-China, back in May 2015, wrote a very interesting article about the silliness of all of this. As the article pointed out, China may be a threat, but what kind of threat? According to the University of California, their Institute on Global Conflict and Cooperation's website, this UCIGCC, is that China's efforts to use its space program to transform itself into a military, economic, and technological power may come at the expense of US leadership and has serious implications for US interests. If we could utilize technology to travel back in time to 2013, we'd find that there was a very different perspective on China. In a brilliant report from CNN explaining the peaceful intent and willingness to cooperate from inside of China's space exploration team, nothing at all related to any threat to US interests. This point of view carried all the way through to the most senior levels of government, with even the Ministry of Defense stating the Chinese government has always advocated the peaceful use of outer space. It opposes space weaponization and an arms race in outer space. So this position is not going to change. To any outside observer who cares to look carefully, they'll see China's words, China's action, and China's history all point to the same thing. China isn't a threat. It's cooperating and sharing where it can. It seems, however, that the worst possible nightmare of UCGICC has actually come true. China has transformed itself into a military, economic, and technological power. And the US might feel that this is at their expense, but in fact it's all being caused by their own paranoia. Why, for example, did China design, manufacture, and launch its own space station? China are now leading the US in a range of fields such as inventions, patent innovations, and technology leaps, as well as growing faster. Its economy is growing faster than the USA. Furthermore, China's military is growing faster than the USA and has already overtaken the US in the number of ships, missiles, air defenses, and appears to be years ahead in hypersonic technology. It's hard to believe that any of that would have been achieved independently if America hadn't ostracized China from their own technology advances. Had they been willing to cooperate, the US would be sharing this technology instead of allegedly stealing it, as they did a couple of weeks ago. Here's the interesting thing. China still speaks of cooperation, and it still prefers trade to hostilities. Friendship, not enmity. It's very well worth reading the speech made by Xi Jinping just a couple of weeks ago to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. That speech included 5 points: political trust, win-win cooperation, equality between nations, openness and exclusiveness, equity and justice. Now compare that to the threatening, fear-inducing, and even some racist anti-Chinese speeches coming from American leaders such as Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, the presidential wannabe Mike Pompeo, who gave a speech that even the normally right-leaning Brookings Institute declared to be surreal. Even Biden's most recent speech in Philadelphia had nothing positive to say except, if the government can destroy MAGA Republicans, things will get better. Based on their words, and without a doubt based on their aggressive actions, Confrontation is very much the way of the future for America, while China has never issued a threat except to criminals and terrorists or people wishing to destroy the harmony that China creates by separatist actions. The cooperation China speaks of is further exemplified by an upcoming meeting called the Greater Bay Science Forum, which will take place in Guangdong later this year. The 2021 forum concluded with the theme of Exploring the Future, Sharing Scientific Achievement, and President Xi addressed a letter to the forum expressing his desire for strengthening research and deepening collaboration on key scientific projects for the benefit of mankind. That's hardly the kind of theme or approach from the very top level of government which could be considered in any way threatening. Unless, of course, you mean it threatens your supremacy and causes you insecurities because you have a different view of how science and technology should be used. The theme for 2022 forum hasn't been announced as yet, but I'm willing to bet it will be related to positive advances and cooperation. Let's see what it will be and look forward to learning how the world can cooperate in this, one of the most important arenas for the future development of a peaceful and cooperative world. Once again, thank you for watching. I've attached a link to this so you can see all of the things that I've mentioned are real, and if you have any comments, please feel free to come back to me. Don't forget to subscribe and share, because these kinds of things don't get out very much because the algorithms in YouTube don't really want to help the pro-China videos. So do your best and we'll get the word out there eventually. Thanks once again. See you next time.